Hello, it's Amy Lee, also known as Teacher Amy Lee with VIPKid and also known as the Productive Mama. But today I'm going to be here as Teacher Amy Lee, except as you can see, I do not have an orange shirt on and I do not have my background behind me. This was kind of a spontaneous decision. But I wanted to talk about a few more super easy, low-tech rewards and props that I have found myself using more and more lately. Um, so let's start with this microphone that doesn't even work. Probably a lot of you know this already, but I have found it to be, and I can't remember, I'm sorry if any of these are repeated because I can't remember if I've talked about any of these in my other videos. I don't do as trials. I hardly ever do trials anymore. But I still do sometimes have lower level twos, and sometimes the microphone is really useful in getting them to understand when I talk and when they talk. Or I'm singing the line and now you're singing the line. So anytime with those warm-ups where it's singing or reciting a poem, I usually get out my microphone and that helps us along. But for those of you who are still doing trials or who have really young kids who don't really even know the "my name is, what's your name" kind of thing, this is really useful way to help out with that. Not foolproof, not guaranteed, but very useful. Okay, in my other super easy rewards video, I talked about the Lisi, the red envelopes, the Hongbao. This year, I used it all through January and February, maybe the very beginning of March. It'll kind of vary depending on when Chinese New Year is. But I do level 3s now, so the kids are a little older. And so I put in this pretend money. Oops. And that was a hit with most of the kids. So I would give them an envelope, but I would have the money sticking out. And they thought that was pretty fun. And then I'm going to move that beyond Chinese New Year and give them money when they do a good job. So because of my setup here, it's really hard for me for you to always be able to see the rewards. So this is easy enough for me to hold for a little while I have my other hand for the mouse to teach the class. So we've got some money. These are both great rewards because they take up very little space. So I'm going to put that back in there. They store flat and they're easy for me to grab as the class goes on. So that's one of my rewards I did this year. Another reward was basically kind of a yard sale find, and that's these little magnetic dress up. So I showed last time my princess magnetic dress up, which is very popular with the little girls. But some of my little girls have seen this many times. So after they've seen it, I can pull this out. So I also use this when I do the clothing lesson with my level 3s, okay, because there's a lot of clothing lessons. So I can use it as a reward, and it also reinforces the lesson material. So I'll ask them when we're talking about pants and t-shirt and what do you wear in spring? You know that one. I'll say, oh, what color pants? And her name's Ivy. I also love to show a little darker skinned girl to the Chinese students as well. But I'll say, what color pants? And I have a few choices. I've kind of bagged them into categories. Like I have one that's kind of the winter clothes when we do that lesson. And then I have the tops and the t-shirts in another bag. So I'll pull those out when I know that lesson's coming up. What color pants? And I give them a choice. So let's pretend they choose blue pants, and that'll be the reward right then. And then the next time they'll get a shirt that they can pick, and then shoes, and then maybe a hat or something else. I also like this because I can stand that there or here, and they still can see her kind of, but it's not obtrusive, and I can still teach without having to hold something. Okay, so for the boys, I will use her with the boys as part of the lesson to reinforce the lesson and be a reward. But if I can, I have this guy. He doesn't come with practical plain pants and shirt. He's more like police or pirate or fireman. What else is he? Pirate, fireman. I don't know what that is. Oh, and like a construction worker. Okay, so I'll use him sometimes too for some of the boys. And again, he can stand there off center a little bit. And oh, this is the one I really use. If my girls have seen my princesses a lot, I have this fairy, and she has all kinds of fairy outfits in all different colors. So I let the girls pick a color, and then I'll put the pieces on as their secondary reward as the class goes on. Okay, so that's my other, again, super simple, low tech. This does take up more room. It does not store flat like my Melissa and Doug princess set. But it does easily store in baggies, and I do have room for it. Okay, my other new find, again, another yard sale find. I don't actively seek out rewards or these props. I just kind of have my eye open to them if they ever present themselves to me. And this one is a moms and babies puzzle. So I use these with my level 2s who are doing the kittens and the puppies and what does a baby cat grow up to, or baby kitten grow up to be, those lessons. I get these out. And there are a lot of animals in here, including a baby human. But I've got penguins and pigs, wolves, turtles. So these can be used in level 3 when you're talking also about the differences between mammals and birds and reptiles and such. So I kind of keep those on the bottom facing down. Like, what else do I have? Rabbits, zebras, ducks. So, you know, if you're really prepared, you can pull these out ahead of time. I'm usually not that prepared. But what I've done to make it easy is in this box on top facing up, I have the level 2 ones where we talk about what baby animals become what adult animals. And then I just put these there, and these are great props or rewards. You know, we talk about how a puppy grows. So I just take that apart. Puppy grows up to be a dog, and I put it together for them. Just another example. The one I have found myself using is a lot of my kids, I don't know if your kids do this, want to say chicken instead of chick all the time. They're always saying chicken. So I'll do this a lot. Chick, chicken, chick, chicken, and get them to practice the difference and then trick them by switching it up. So that is another one of my new tools that I find myself using a lot. Sometimes I get something that I think I'm going to use a lot and I don't really use it much. Like Mr. Potato Head, not been as useful as I thought he was going to be, and takes up a lot of space. So I'm considering retiring Mr. Potato Head. Okay, the last thing I want to mention is getting a little fun calendar for those not very exciting level 3 lessons when we're doing the months of the year. And we do those a lot. There are a lot of lessons. I have these little signs for the days of the week. Not very exciting, but useful for those. But I didn't have anything, and maybe you already thought of this, but it took me forever to finally say, oh, I just need to get a calendar that's not too huge with something fun that might grab their attention, SpongeBob, so that I can practice the months with something else visual for them to see. So that is my other new tool / toy that I use. Okay, so none of those are complicated. None of those are super exciting. But again, I don't do the digital rewards. I do pretty low tech. Stickers on my face is probably the one I do the most that I talk about in my other video. Especially my new kids, when they see me do that, I usually get a nice chuckle out of them and sometimes their parents. Anyway, so I just wanted to share my low-tech, super easy rewards and props that I use, and I hope you found them useful and that you can take